Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And this is a 2010 Chevrolet Cobalt LT. In this video, I will be demonstrating on how to do a fuel system troubleshooting. What I am showing right now is the engine performance circuit of the Cobalt. And we're going to be looking at the fuel pump motor that's highlighted in pink that's inside the fuel pump. And what's yellow is the positive and what's orange is the ground. And we're going to be tracing the yellow all the way to the fuse that's located in the fuse box. That also goes the same with the fuel pump relay. And what's already there in blackish or color with a pencil is the switch will be closed and the other side of it will be open. And what's pink is a resistor along with another positive on pin 86. And also remember, pin 87 will be always hot when it's on. The first test that you should do is the initial fuel pump operational check. In order to perform this, you can do this by yourself or have somebody with you to turn on the car but not crank the engine, and also have no sort of background noise, because you're gonna have to listen to a humming sound for a few seconds and also a clicking noise, which is something like this. The sole reason that you want to do this operational check is to make sure that the fuel pump is working properly. Without hearing a humming noise, that means there could be issues with not starting the car. The relevance of doing a bench test is to see if the fuel pump relay that's in the fuse box is working properly. And in order to perform this bench test, the most simplest way that you can do it is to get a multimeter, have two clamps, one red for positive and one black for negative, and a 9-volt battery. It's best suggested to connect both clamps across from each other and not in front of each other or next to each other. And once they are across from each other, you grab the battery and then you connect the battery with the other pins that are not connected to the clamps. And you will be hearing a clicking sound in the process while getting a resistance, like so. Once the bench test has been completed, you'll be moving forward to a voltage drop test with the relay. And you'll be using a special adapter for this test. With the special adapter in place in the fuse box, you're going to connect both the positive and negative clamps as shown in the screen. It's best recommended to do this test with another person on whether you wanted to start the engine. Meanwhile, you will record how many volts it will drop, or vice versa. Why is a voltage drop better than a bench test? It makes it easier to measure how many volts or how much power is going to the relay, which is also going to the fuel pump. In order to check a fuel sending unit, you will need to have your multimeter reading in ohms while connecting your positive and negative clamps to the right pins as shown. And with the flow gauge, you will be moving it up and down to see how much resistance is changing with the multimeter. As it is being shown in the engine performance circuit diagram from earlier, in order to check the power on a fuel pump, you will need to hook up a multimeter with the positive clamp going into the pink and black wire, which is highlighted in yellow, and the ground wire or clamp going into the ground wire that's highlighted in orange. In order to do a fuel pressure test, you will need to connect the gauge with a adapter that will hook up to the strainer valve in the fuel rail. Once it's hooked up, have the key in the on position and look how much pressure it has, in which it will start around in the 60s, but it will drop down to 45. After that, crank the engine and look how much pressure it has, and it will go from around the mid 40s all the way to 63 psi. Anyways, that's gonna be it. I hope that helped you out, and have a nice day or evening.